When you're giving yourself affirmations, you put this stuff on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, Snapchat, I don't know. And you're giving yourself, you're speaking positive words onto yourself. And, like me, I say I'm the GOAT and stuff like that. And you may do more traditional affirmations and stuff like that, or just speak positivity about the world and about your life. You're doing it because most of the time you're doing it because you need it. So you're not doing it because you're trying to show off, or you're not doing it because you think it's cool, or because you even feel it. You're doing it because you need it. You hope to feel like that, and you hope to feel like that more often than not. And you may not feel like that at the time, but hopefully you will soon. So, it's almost like in the fake it till you make it neighborhood, but you're not faking it at all. It's like you're doing it because you're saying, well, I'm going to be in this healed state. I'm going to behave like a healed person until I am a healed person. And I'm going to have these healed behaviors, and one day you'll just realize, oh, I'm now more of a healed person than not. I don't think you'll ever be, you're never going to be, how you would be if you never went through a certain trauma, right? But, you'll realize one day, okay, I'm on the other side of that. It's like you're going to the gym every day and, you don't really have the performance or the muscles or the health yet, but you're showing up and you're learning a little more every day, and you start to have those behaviors, and you know how to be a gym person. It's like, you know how to use the equipment, and you got a little gear now, and not the kind of gear that some of you know, but you got some gear now, and you start to know people, and you have a routine, and you know how to do the different workouts correctly and stuff like that. And then one day you look at yourself, or you're doing a movement or something like that, and you're like, damn, I know what I'm doing. You're like, okay, I am an athlete. I am a gym person. I'm a fit person now. It's like, maybe it's not what you thought in your head when you were thinking about it when you started, right, years before. But now you're like, I've done it. I'm on the other side. And a lot of times we think of it as a destination, or we think of it as not a destination, but a finish line, right? And we think of it as like, I'm done, like I did it, and I think of it more like I'm here now. That's kind of what does that even make sense? Like, I try to think of it more like not something that is over with. I'm healed, I'm finished. No, but I've arrived at a place where I can identify as this now, So it was like me, I started getting, lifting and stuff like that, like sometime in my 30s or whatever. And in my mind, at some point I was going to be big and jacked and cut up and stuff like that. That didn't happen. That never happened. But I've been a person people look at for a while and identify as a guy who probably goes to the gym, has some muscles, and has some strength. I arrived there a while ago, but in my mind, I never let myself accept that, because I was like, I'm supposed to look and perform a certain way. So I was like, those people, those guys and girls, no, they are there. They are that. I'm not. But at a certain point, you do arrive there. And I'm using gym as an analogy, but there are actually other things there are other places I've arrived at that I didn't let myself accept until super, super recently. And I think it's very important, if no one else tells you, because some people don't need to be told this shit, but if no one tells you, like, you need people to tell you, to allow you to give yourself permission to be like, nah, you're good. You did it. You're there. You've arrived, And because you did, and it's you who did it. That's what makes it the best, you know, because no one is gonna get there and be there like you are, you know. So if you are the gym person, if you are the, you know, the speaker, the you know, someone at work who does a certain job that other people do that you aspire to do, and now you're getting there, you know, whatever it is, musician, you know, whatever it is, when you get there, it counts more than anything else, because only you can be there giving what you give. And I kind of gave myself, after going through a really hard week, couple weeks, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's like I got to a point where I was just like, oh, I'm here. Like, I was calling myself the GOAT and stuff like that. When I call myself the GOAT and anything, you know, it's, I believe it, but I believe it because of the sum of the parts, you know. I believe it because of, like, if you add this and this and this and all these things that I did, I gotta be the GOAT. You know, because no one has done all these things and done it at the level I have. So I'm like, I must be the GOAT. But I didn't feel like the GOAT in my lesser moments. And, you know, if those lesser moments happen frequently in 1 week, then I feel less like the GOAT in that week. And it's almost like I think those things got taken away from me, the things that made me the GOAT. They don't get taken away from you. You know? And that's kind of the thing that I arrived at, that I realized. I'm like, no, once I arrived at being the GOAT, I'm the GOAT all the time, you know. And I'm like, I'm Rod and I'm the GOAT, and like, okay, somebody else can be what they are, but nobody's me. Nobody has arrived at the GOAT in Rod fashion, you know. And that's the thing, getting to a point where it's just like, nah, man, you know, you're good everywhere, every time, you know, you everywhere, every time, you know. So then you start enjoying being you more. And I tell you, I've enjoyed being me. I really enjoyed being me on my way to being the GOAT. Like, in the early days, you know, my late 20s, mid 20s, when I was just starting out trying to be the GOAT, and I realized I could, you know, maybe early 30s, when I was like, oh shit, when I really thought I was the GOAT and I wasn't yet, you know. But on the other side of a lot of fucked up things, on the other side of a lot of trash things, is now when I'm seeing that, you know, life is short and you need to enjoy being you. Nobody, what is the Dr. Seuss? Is it Dr. Seuss or is it Shel Silverstein? It's probably Dr. Seuss, because it sounds like Dr. Seuss. Like, nobody's youer than you. But we don't believe that. We want to be versions of other people, you know. But like, you need to enjoy being you, you know. I've always enjoyed being me, you know. I used to always say, you know, no one could be me. I wouldn't wish me on anyone, but also you would never know how amazing it is to be me. But there have been times in the last couple of years when I haven't felt like that for the first time in a long time. But, you know, now, after going through a lot of that shit, it's like, oh, I'm still me, I'm still here, you know. All that, you know, everything that made me the GOAT, none of it has went away. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, you know. And it's not a kind of thing where I'm like, I gotta achieve this, I gotta be this, you know. It's more like, this is what I am already, I can enjoy this every day, every moment of every day. I can enjoy being Rod. I worked really hard on Rod. And when I say Rod, I don't mean some fake identity of who Rod is, because that was a big problem with myself for a very long time. I mean, what God made me. He was like, you're Rod, only you. Be that. You know how people work to be. It's like people will work years to be a professional footballer, a professional singer, anything like that. And they're like, I'm at the top of the field. You know, I'm at the top of the profession, being a scientist, being a doctor, being a basketball player, being a rapper. And I'm more like, I'm trying to reach peak level Rod. There is something that God made me. And like, that's the most important. I'm trying to be peak level what God intended for me. And now that's where I'm at. That's what like everyone, that's probably what we all should be trying to do. Like, there's a specific thing that God gave you. And yeah, who doesn't want to be fucking 6'4" or almost 2 meters for people who use fake numbers? And you know, who doesn't want to be, you know, have long beautiful hair and fucking, you know, all of that stuff, and all the stuff that society thinks is amazing, you know, and be rich and, you know, all of that stuff. But like, okay, you can still seek some of that stuff, but that should be secondary, because you're not even gonna notice what you are and what you have that no one else does. And if you achieve those other things, you're just gonna be like a bunch of other people anyway. You miss the whole plot, you know? It's like, but if you develop what you are to the fullest, that's really where you're gonna get that feeling that you're chasing, you know? And maybe the beginning of that, at least for me, is enjoying who you are. So everything starts, right? Kids, they start with play. Before they start to learn, you know, with the pen and paper, they it's play. So you start by enjoying yourself, you know? I'm like, what is Rod? And then, you know, that's kind of the thing I'm on now. Like, it's like, who are you without comparison, and without comparison, you know? Trying to achieve this thing and trying to, you know, it's and then it's like, what do you like? What do you like, and what are you like? You know, and then just enjoying the fuck out of that, you know? I like to wear jewelry. You know, I don't only like it too because, like, of course, when I started wearing it, I was like, this is what people around me are wearing, and when people see it, they be like, oh, okay, you got it, you got that, it's nice. I realized at a certain point, I just like it. Sometimes I just wear it and I sit around the house. Like Drake said, I wear every single chain even when I'm in the house, you know? And I start thinking on things like that. And I'm like, even coming out here to the marina, you know, I'm like, I just like being by the water. I don't necessarily have to. I always felt like I had to get something out of it. Okay, I run, I walk or something like that for an hour. And yeah, that's good. But also, Rod just likes to look at the fucking water and the cloud formations and the sun, you know? I like to look directly at the sun for a few minutes, feel the sunshine. Energizes me, you know? What do you like? What do you do? You know? And then being you as hell, you know? What do you don't want to listen to people say? You know, what do you want to do, and then it might make people a little uncomfortable, and how do you navigate that? You know, doesn't mean you don't pursue the other stuff. I'm still pursuing counseling. All that stuff is scary, switching careers and all of that. But doing that, knowing that as I'm looking to be a counselor, that I'm doing it as Rod, That's the thing, because when we're like, man, it's scary, I don't know if I'm going to be good at that job, and what if I fail and stuff. I think we're saying that because we're thinking of people who are doing it already, and we're like, I should also do it well. Meaning I should do it like people who are doing it already. That's really what we're saying. But no one's going to do it like you. I've gotten so much feedback, positive feedback, about me switching my career to being a counselor. People are like, oh yeah, of course. Or that kind of thing, because it may not be counseling. Who knows? It's going to be something in that area. And that's because there's no Rod in counseling. There might be someone similar to me, but there's no me. So yeah, that's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it, You gotta enjoy you. I like those people who you see some people and you're like, they're not focusing on what they think is they're lacking. I like that, Me, I'll throw on a tank top, right? Or I won't throw on a tank top. I've been working for years, right? I got muscle that's not gonna go anywhere. But I'm looking and I'm like, damn, I'm eating too good. That belly is bellying, And that's what I'm thinking about, instead of, these fucking big old ham hocks, these big guns that I worked on for years. And I'm like, yeah, might not got a six pack. I might got a keg of dynamite instead. But, you got some decent traps and some shoulders and some arms. Enjoy it. People say you fucking arrogant. Fuck them. Enjoy it. You worked for that. So then what happens 10 years later? You're always focused on what you lacked, and you didn't walk around in your fucking tank top and a couple chains and enjoyed that shit instead, like a fucking badass. That's what you wanted. You have it. You can always think about what you don't have. But what do you have? What can you enjoy? I ain't thinking about the $1 million I don't have. I'm gonna go have fun with the $20 I do have. Anyway, Rod doing Rod. Peace.